Oh, well, there you are right there. Graveyard Carz is starting right now. If I were you, I'd hop on out of the gas tank, get seated, pop up some corn, because we got a great episode coming up.
They're coming to get you, Barbara.
On this episode of Graveyard Carz, a 1969 Charger arrives at the shop,
Kyle, how are you?
Good, Mark, you?
I'm doing good.
prompting Mark to gather Will, Alyssa, and Cousin Dougie to teach them why they should appreciate Chargers for more than just their looks.
What are the other things that jump out about you different between this and the other two models that surround it, the 68 and the 70?
All before the 69 Charger owners return to tell the story of their car.
It's not anything specifically special, but it's very special to our family.
In Springfield, Oregon, Mark Worman, together with his skilled ghouls,
It has been established that the unburied dead are coming back to life.
bring classic Mopar muscle cars back from the dead to look like they did the moment they left the factory floor.
Because of the obvious threat, this station will remain on the air day and night.
Over the weekend, we received a 1969 Dodge Charger. Now, this is a 383 two-barrel car. Really nice, clean, original old car. Been talking to the guy for a while about doing the restoration on it. He finally decided to pull the trigger. We'll sit down and talk with them, learn a little bit more about the car, what it means to them, where he got it, that kind of stuff. One of the things I want to do this week in the way of fun is round up the ghouls and bring out two different cars from two different generations of the Charger. So we're going to bring out a 1968 and a 1969, 1971 and a 1974. Which are two Chargers from each generation. It helps them get more robust knowledge of the cars. If they're ever out at a car show, which we go to quite often, and somebody comes up and asks them something, I don't want them to look silly. So just another opportunity to educate. So with that, I'm pulling into the shop right now to get started. This is going to be a good episode. Graveyard Carz. So this morning I'm going to round up the team and I'm going to take them out back and let them select in their own mind and in their own time which of two generations of Chargers they prefer. We have a 1968, which is a 426 Hemi 4-speed car, original yellow, so hard to argue with that. Then we have a really nice 69 Survivor type car, not full Survivor, needs restored, but a really good, clean, original version of a second generation Charger. Then we're going to hop over to the third generation, have them look at a 1971 Charger RT 440 Magnum automatic FE5 Rally Red with hideaway headlights, and a very unusual 1974 Charger, which most people don't even look at. It's a factory manual sunroof car, 400 Magnum with power windows, and it's triple white. So it'll be interesting to see what cars they pick. I brought all the ghouls out earlier and we looked at the cars and I let them select what their favorite ones would be. Alyssa went for the 71 Dodge Charger. It's a cool car. I personally love those cars. I know you don't. You know why? Because you're a bubblegum kid. You're that kid that likes pop music.
This is why I didn't want to do this.
You like pop music on the radio. You want a 68 Charger because it was famous in Bullet. I mean, you don't think outside of that. You just...
And Blade.
You like the same... Yeah, Blade. Yeah, he did drive one of those. That's a cool car. So since you love them so much, I thought it'd be an opportunity to see what you know about them.
Nothing.
So, nothing. Huh, but you know you love them.
Uh-huh.
Huh, that is so weird. Okay, so that's what we're doing out here. We're going to just talk about some of the differences between the 68, the 69, the 71, and 74. Now, what are these generations of Chargers that we're looking at right now? What generation would the 68 be? What generation would the 69 be?
Did you bring me out here to go over the
Since you
68?
did so well on the first two, what would the generation of the 71 be?
Are you done?
Or the 74?
Are you done?
Okay, let's get started. Now, I'm the first to admit that the 68 Charger is probably the sleekest of the second generation Dodge Chargers, to help you out there. So, 1966 was the introduction of the Dodge Charger.
That'd be number two.
That'd be the first generation.
I see how you lined them up.
Well, it's okay.
I know.
Let me finish. The 66 is going to be the first generation. The 67 is going to be what generation?
first.
Still the first, that's right. If you know the answer, just shoot it right out there. That's right. Now, the 68 would be the
Second.
what year? What one of the second generation? The first one, the second one, or the third one of the second generation? Math is starting to. Yeah, it's the first car of the,
Gotta be the first.
second generation.
Of the second.
All right.
Right.
So all that aside, I believe that it is a very sleek and sexy car. Now, what is it you like about this car that you don't like about the great-looking 69?
I love the
That
grille.
made you jump on this like a little kid on a cartoon.
why-
What do you like about that grill compared to that grill?
Because this is all one piece and it hides the headlights.
That's a one-piece grill,
Yeah, but no. Well, it's got that center thing in the middle.
and it hides the headlights.
This is one piece.
That's
There's no center divider. And
now we're getting something. There's no center divider. That's right. Like I say, if you know the answer, just throw it out there. This one does not use the nose piece in the middle, the H molding style nose piece, but it does have concealed headlamps.
Right.
And the 69 has concealed headlamps.
Right.
Did you know that the first generation, the 66
And I like the
and the
taillights.
67, also had concealed
I like
headlights?
the tail lights.
And some of the third generation had concealed headlights. For example, our 71.
And the 68 dashes
down there.
is a 1 year only option. I love that.
It's an option,
Yeah,
or it was standard equipment?
standard.
Okay.
But it was the
So-
only year that had it, so.
So I like the grill. I will concede with that. I like the bumper. I will concede with that. Now, you had pointed out that you like
That's so solid.
the 68 only
solid.
instrument panel assembly. And I agree. I think it's very, very cool, and it's definitely a one-year only unique
It's starting to
thing.
rain. Can we
It's
finish this
fine. This
later?
is Oregon. I'm not hiding anything anymore. This bull crap people do, like it's always sunny in Philadelphia. This ain't Philadelphia. All right, this is Oregon. We shoot in the rain, okay? It's gonna make my hair look wet, which is gonna make me look bald. Yeah, screw you, Magic Hat. A few seasons ago, we restored a 1970 Dodge Charger. Now, historically, to date, that's my favorite car. I mean, they're all beautiful, and I love them all. But the 1970 Dodge Charger has a very soft spot in my heart because it was my very first Mopar that I ever owned. Now, this car was a 70 Charger RT, 426 Hemi, 4-speed Super Track Pack. That's a A34 alphanumeric code on the fender tag. It was also FK5 Burnt Orange, which is my favorite color of all time because my 70 Charger, while it was no Hemi, was a real burnt orange car. My car had a white top on it. This one had a black vinyl top. The reason the car has a very soft spot in my heart is, one, it was done as a tribute to his father, and I think that's awesome. Two is, where else are you going to find a numbers matching, I mean all original, right down to the carburetors and distributor, numbers matching 70 Charger? You're not. I mean, there's a few out there, but not many. So this car deserved to be brought back from the dead, and that's exactly what we did. Now, the car had quite a bit of rust on it because it was from New York, so we ended up doing floors, quarters, trunk floor extensions, rear body panel. There was a lot of stuff. But when it was over, we ended up with a beautiful, all-original numbers matching, one of only 56 70 Hemi Charger RTs. We were able to unveil it at a local baseball game. We got to drive it out onto the field. Crowd went berserk, as you could imagine. It was a beautiful car. So for me, the corpse of the week, probably in my heart, is the corpse of the series, is a 1970 Dodge Charger RT, 426 Hemi 4-speed, burnt orange, super track pack, black interior, console shift. So, now when I walk out, cut the audio right now, and I just keep walking out like I'm really cool, right? But don't, obviously, I'm just strutting. All right, just notice the hump in the floor and the shifter.
Okay.
Okay, that would be the same in 68 and 69. However, in 1970, the Dodge Charger with a 4-speed would have got what kind of a shifter?
Console.
Right, it would have got a console around the shifter. What kind of shifter would it have gotten?
You know, I don't know.
Pistol grip, you work
I
in
don't
it
know.
every single
no,
day.
I don't. This is assembly.
The 70 Dodge Coronet, the 70 Hemi Charger, 156 with 426 Hemi, 4-speed and 410 data.
Great.
What is it you like about the 68 taillights that you don't like about the 69?
I've always liked the 65 Impalas, and they had the really cool round tail lights.
Now, I will give you that one, my friend. I will give you that one. I like the 65 Impala as well. Maybe the 65 Impala influenced the back end of these cars.
Maybe it did.
You don't know. In 1968, if you had a white interior in a Dodge Charger, it had a pearl in it. So it wasn't just a solid white, it had pearl in it. There were a lot of styling cues different on the 68 on the interior over the 69. The pleats. Take a look at the pleats in this thing. See how those pleats are? Very, very definitive, and they go left to right like that. And that's a unique style. That's 68. You come over to the 69 and notice the seats. Now these are leather interior, but look at the pattern of it. That cross pattern,
Right.
That's your 69. So, okay.
Are we good? It's right.
Do you like that 69 Charger has a right-hand outside mirror and this one doesn't?
I like it better without.
You like it better without. Did you know that has nothing to do with the actual year, make, and model of the car? It has to
I
do
said
with
the option, isn't it?
option. That's an option. That's right. That's an option. That's good. Notice how this one has the RT. That was standard in the 68 Charger RT models. That one doesn't have one.
That's not an RT.
All right, you can go back in, Alice. I love this weather. Give it to me. Give me more. I love it. I think it's funny that Will's complaining so much about the rain. If this was a football game, he'd be standing in it, eating all the snacks, putting more weight on him. He'd be having fun. Toughen up. You know what I'm saying? When I was 10 years old, I had 5 paper routes. I had to go out in this crap. I didn't even have a shirt on.
Don't forget your coffee.
It wasn't like you. I couldn't go home and say, Mommy, make me a grilled cheese sandwich and some tomato soup. You know what I got? I got a fist in my face.
You're sweet, Mom.
You ever walk in the back door and have your kidneys kicked in? So with one car under our belt and the rain coming down hard, I've got to be practical, right? So I'm going to move the next cars inside and go over. There's just no reason to stand out in the rain when you have a big, beautiful shop. Even if that seems hypocritical. Okay, folks, just to talk a little bit further about my favorite car, the 1970 Dodge Charger RT 426 Hemi 4-speed. Very rare car. You probably won't see another one at any local car show. Question is, how many 70 Charger RTs with a 426 Hemi 4-speed transmissions were built? Was it 58, 54, or 56? If you think you remember the answer, because I did give it to you earlier, stay tuned after the break. All right, ghouls, on our 1970 Dodge Charger, if you answered that they built 56 with a 426 Hemi and a 4-speed, you're right. 56, imagine that. That was 50 years ago, almost 50 years ago. They only made 56 of them, and they spread them throughout the United States. How many are in your hometown? All right, so right now we're getting ready to look at Doug's second choice, the 1969 Dodge Charger. He loved the 68 Dodge Charger. That was his first choice, but Will, big baby Spooner, he wanted the 68, so I let him have that. Without further ado, let's go over some of the things that you like about the 69 Dodge Charger and what sets it apart from the others. Shall we?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, sorry.
You go. No, you're okay. You go ahead. You walk off that way. You go around that way.
I was going to point out the front grille. Well, the center of the grille is different than all of them.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I thought that was kind of unique.
The thing about Doug is, I can tell if he's clicking or I can tell if he's not. If the switch is off, I don't even bother. But if the switch is on, he actually pretty darn good. Now, the 69 nose, though, did become a very famous, iconic image.
Dukes
or
of Hazzard?
television series, sure. Dukes of Hazzard, that's right. Dukes of Hazzard. What are the other things that jump out about you different between this and the other two models that surround it, the 68 and the 70?
The side lights?
The side lights. 69 is unique by itself. This actually does not have a park lamp in it.
Just a reflector.
So in 69, it was just a reflector. It actually wasn't a side marker light, which is weird because in 68, it was round and it was located up higher right on the style line. But it would actually illuminate. And the 70 would also illuminate. But this particular one was just a reflector. Now this is a special edition. So what is the SE going to tell us on this particular car? What would it have guaranteed that a non-SE wouldn't have? It's very similar
Leather
to your
interior?
Very similar to your Grand Coupe, that's right.
Yeah.
It also gets the wood grain dash panel.
Oh, yeah.
So the wood grain dash panel was standard on the SEs, and it was the only way you could get it in 69. The owner of the 69 Chargers had it a long time. I think that he's going to have a lot of fun when it's done, and I think he's going to have a family heirloom that he can pass down to his kids. Or what do you think of them taillights? Talk to me. You prefer the 68?
Well, I did.
These are more like mine, although mine didn't have the chrome highlight around them. Same shape, it didn't have the chrome highlight. That was the 70s style.
I like these.
1969, the General Lee made this Charger famous on television. What movie made it famous at the drive-in theaters?
Tell me.
Dirty Mary
Oh,
and Psycho Larry.
my favorite.
Yes, it is. It's one of Doug's
Yeah,
favorite movies. We saw that at the
yeah.
drive-in way back when we were
Loved
kids.
it.
So that car was a 69 Charger, assumably or presumably, whichever one it is, an RT, because I had RT badging on it. But on the back quarter, right here, an RT would normally have a big badge that would say RT, or this would be a Bumblebee and it would be cut out in the Bumblebee and say RT. That one had neither. It had 440 written in it with that arrow-shaped stripe down the side.
It's pretty.
So that's why I always wondered if that was a real RT or not. It also probably, when it started life, was a vinyl top car, but they didn't think that was very sexy, so they painted the top the same color as the body. But if you look carefully at the pictures, you'll see that that car has these moldings on it. They wouldn't have put those moldings on. It'd been like our 68 Charger. Wouldn't have been a molding there if it wasn't a vinyl top car. But if you look carefully at the wreck scene at the end of Dirty Mary and Crazy Larry, right after Mary says, "I think I'm ready to unload," they smash into that train. That's a real 69 Charger. I don't know which one from the movie, but it's one of them that they had used or planned for it, and that was a real scene. And if you look carefully, you'll see that's a real hit. Watch the secondary damage go throughout the entire car, all the way through to the back window and around. That hit in the front is an example of how a unibody will transfer damage where a subframe car won't. Okay, it's because it's all one piece. So it lives together, it dies together, it wrecks together, it spreads together. That's just the way it is. From 1968 to 1970, did all Chargers, regardless of the model and engine, get a flip-top gas cap?
Sure.
Yes, that's correct. Very nice. Were there any other cars that got the flip-top gas cap in 1969?
Barracuda?
Yeah. Oh, Dougie coming out of the gates a little slow, but gaining the speed now. Oh, one thing I do want to talk about before we peel
The
out of here.
L51s? The
want you to-
L31s.
What I'd like to know is, why are you doing this with that?
Doing what with what?
Thank you for asking. This, it's everywhere now. It's like, where's Waldo?
I did that? Careful, don't break my hand.
On this installment of You Make the Call, I got my cousin Dougie here with me because we both happen to love these particular cars, maybe more so than most Mopar guys do. This is a flashback. Two cars that we restored many episodes ago, many seasons ago. I want to see which one you'd pick. So, 1971 Dodge Charger RT. It was a 440 6-pack triple green car. They only made, it's an automatic, they only made 98 of those cars. Good looking car in EF7 Sherwood or dark green in the Dodge lineup. The other car, the 1972 Dodge Charger. Here's the hook on this one. Doug loves the oddball stuff. This car's an oddball. This car had every option that a real A57 Charger Rally would have had in 72, but it wasn't a Charger Rally. It was a 318. The gentleman, Mr. Walton, who bought the car brand new, wanted all the performance package stuff without the gas-guzzling engine because he wanted to take his kids across country with the little trailer in tow and see the United States. If you had a choice right now between a 1971 Dodge Charger RT 446 pack, one of 98 in triple green, and a 1972 Dodge Charger 318 with all the options of an A57 Rally package, but not the A57 in top banana with white interior, which one would you make the call on?
What?
That's why I don't ask him. You folks at home make the call.
How about the 71?
Okay.
How about
You're
that
a little
one?
late.
Oh, sorry.
So at home, if you guys want to go to... So anybody can make the call on it, Dougie, if he chooses to or not. But if you at home would like to make the call, then go to graveyardcars.com and vote for which car you would pick back in the day. And we will announce which one was more popular according to you next week, live on Facebook.
So far, After the arrival of a 1969 Charger, Mark taught Will and Doug why they should appreciate the 68 and 69 Chargers for more than just their looks.
That's not an RT.
Mark continues the lesson by showcasing a 71 and 74 Charger before the owners of the newly arrived and ready for restoration 1969 Charger return to tell the story of their car.
I remember my mom getting in the car and it dying because it does not like my mom.
So we have moved our 71 Charger, Alyssa's choice.
My favorite car in the graveyard.
For the record, it's probably one of my favorite cars too. I love the 71. That's true, you did good. We're gonna go over the car, talk about what it is that she likes about it, what's different about this one than say the 74 that she passed on, or the 68 and the 69. Are you ready?
Yes.
1971 Dodge Charger 440 Magnum Automatic.
The 71 Charger came down out of Washington. The guy had been wanting to restore the car. He owned it for years. Looking forward to seeing that one done. I think it's going to be a beauty.
71 Dodge Charger. What is it you like about this over, say, the 68 and 69 that you looked at?
Yeah.
Or the 74, which is very similar to this car?
So I like the overall look of this car, the shape of it, and I like the flip-up headlights. I think that's really cool.
Okay.
I love the hood. Obviously, it calls out the 440 Magnum, so this car had a fast engine.
Got fast engine, that's right.
I also really like the shape of this
370
quarter
horsepower in
window.
1971, 375 prior to that. Changed the heads, dropped the compression.
That's why you're here.
Go ahead.
I also like the shape of the window. If you look at this
Those are
quarter
cool.
window,
Love
it comes back up to a point. I think that's cool, because even if you look over at our little Duster, it's more rounded. So I think that this just looks mean, and I like it.
But remember, the 74 SE has louvers in there. You didn't like the look of the louver?
No, I like those, but it didn't come with some of the other things
It didn't
that
look
the
slick.
71 had.
Yeah, 71 was the last year for a lot of things. Now, you like the stripe.
I do.
This is an interesting stripe because you see it doesn't go all the way down like most stripes do. It starts at the back of the hood and the back of the fender and goes down the side. So, but this is a standard feature on all 1971 Dodge Charger RTs. And they were all matte black. Yeah, the weird thing about them is see how they stopped it right here? Almost looks like they didn't think it out all the way. Like, why didn't they come back some more and finish it off or round it?
Well,
okay. There are no taillights on this one, but the 1971 Dodge Charger taillights would even make you love them more. Is that a mannequin arm in there? Why?
who pulled this car in for us?
Doug. Oh, he's sick.
Well,
okay. Taking it back at the front, you were talking about the concealed headlamps. Now, what's cool about this car, open that little bad boy up right there. Concealed headlamps were one of the neatest features on the Dodge Charger. It was standard on the first generation and the second generation Chargers. It was optional on 1971 and 72 of the third generation, even though they built them in 73 and 4, the concealed headlights were not an option. If you look at this fender tag right here, you see that code right down there at the end?
yeah, I see it. It's-
L37.
Yep.
That's what makes this car so unique, is most of them did not have this. You see them on a lot of cars that people bolted them on because they were a bolt-on item. In this particular case, it was an option. Okay, this was a cab rearward design. It looks like the cab portion of it is favoring the back of the car with the nose towards the front. So the fuselage is more in the back than, say, in the middle of it. So not only was that design change bold, I think, for the time, they were also in the mindset of trying to be efficient. So you could, even though nothing would line up, you could unbolt this fender, unbolt that hood, unbolt that fender. You could go out back and get a fender off of a 70 Cuda, a hood, and the other fender, and bolt them right on there.
Wow.
And the problem would be there'd be a gap like that of inner structure. Or maybe it would be at the front. But the front inner aprons on this car, when you look at this, these aprons for support
This is large under
is identical to an e-body car. So you take a look at the shape of this inner fender right here, right? See that? Now go over here and take a look at this one. Identical. Okay, we're running out of daylight. Let's keep burning. The hood definitely is 71 to 74, but they had three different hoods. They had this style hood in 1971, which is a non-functional, but looks like those are louvers that would take cold air in.
Right.
They weren't. They were simulated louvers, okay? This was one. Then they just had a bulge hood. The bulge hood looked exactly like this, except this big cutout was not in it, and it was just smooth metal all the way across there.
Tony D'Agostino would like to inform you that Mark Too Cool for Tony's Mopar School, Warman, is incorrect. Although all 1971 to 1974 hoods were interchangeable, this hood with this insert was only available on a 71 Charger RT. Additionally, the bulge hood was not available on the 71 Charger. However, the flat hood was available for the standard Charger. Quote, hoods can be a hot mess, not unlike a Philly cheesesteak with too much cheese whiz. End quote. We now return you to the feature presentation.
And then the third one was a true real live Ram Charger hood, where the air door, like our 71 Charger we did back in season 3, the green car 446 pack automatic, that one has a fully functional door that has Ram Charger written on the side of it. Those were the 3 different hoods you could get with it. Let's talk about the side markers. You like those?
Yeah.
1970, they were a different fender and a different quarter panel, and they were chrome like the Challenger. They looked like these. They weren't exactly, but they looked like these. 71, that was one of my favorite features. It uses that painted grille, monochromatic, and then you have, and it's flush with the actual fender itself and the quarter panel.
Part of the car.
It looks like it's inset. It looks spacey a little bit. The louvers in the doors are cool too. 1971, the Dodge Charger RT. It was the last year for the RT model. They did have a performance model in 72, so you know. In 72, it wasn't called an RT though, it was called a Charger Rally. And instead of having 2 vertical louvers like that, it had 5 that went down like that. Like our 72 Charger for the Waltons that we did, that nice family. That was a 72. 71 was the last year technically available with the 446 pack engine. However, there are a few, only a handful, of 1972 Chargers and Roadrunners that escaped the factory with a V code 446 pack or 6 barrels.
That's cool.
So with that, meeting S adjourned. Do you have any questions?
No. Nope.
So as everybody knows, my favorite car in history that we have restored to date was a 1970 Dodge Charger RT with a 426 Hemi, a 4-speed, and a Super Track Pack axle package. It was FK5 with a black top and a black interior. True or false? The FK5 stood for Burnt Sienna. Think you know the answer? Stay tuned after the break and I'll let you know. All right, my little ghouls, how did you do on that one? We're talking about the 1970 Dodge Charger 426 Hemi 4-speed 410 A34 Super Track Pack in FK5 with a black top. Did the FK5 stand for Burnt Sienna? If you said true, well, you're wrong. You're not only wrong, you shouldn't be allowed to watch the show anymore. I'm just kidding. FK5 is burnt orange. I talked about it from the day we started the series until now. My favorite color, burnt orange. My car happened to also have a burnt orange interior. Now, when I was in 2nd grade, I only had 8 crayons, so I wasn't able to make burnt orange or burnt sienna. So it wasn't until later on in life that I was able to appreciate those colors. So last week we talked about the multi-carburation system that came out in '69.5. So today I want to go a little bit further down that road. I want to talk about some of the things to look for if you're searching for the correct carburetor for your 6-barrel or 6-pack car. So I brought out a completely restored carburetor. Scott Smith up at Harms Auto does all of our carburetor restoration. I also have a Holley remanufactured replica of that carburetor. First off, how do you know this is the correct center carburetor for your 1970, only year they made them, AAR CUDA with an automatic transmission? The list number. So if you look here at the list number, you'll see it reads 4792. We'll go to our little reference book here. A center carburetor with A53 package. A53, of course, is our AAR CUDA on a 70 BS23 car. It also has a part number of 83 on it, probably the last 2 digits of the actual part number. So, First of all, let's make sure we're comparing apples and apples. That's what this one is. We can see that written here on the list number. And then we turn it to the side and you'll see the last 2 digits of the part number there. Now again, this has been restored by Scott Smith up at Harms, so everything that would have been on this carburetor when it was new is on there now, everything. Let's just double check and see if our Holly has that. This carburetor looks very much like that carburetor. But for example, on the front side, we have our list number right here. This, of course, is the front of the same carburetor. No list number here. It appears over here. So I don't know why they chose to do that. Maybe a quick way to be able to identify a replica from an original. This plate right here is a gold cadmium. This plate's a gold cadmium. However, on these screws, they're also gold, where over here they were originally zinc plated. So this would be an accurate restoration on Scott's part. See how these screws have a tapered finish to them. They're tapered out at the bottom. They have a flat slot in them, and they're yellow chromate. These over here are a hex style, probably a 10 millimeter, sadly. What's cool is you can go to Classic Industries, order a correct set of the original screws, replicas, and put them in your brand new Holley carburetor. It's a winner all the way around. Now you're taking this carburetor and you're making it look a lot more accurate and close to the original one. So, time for a 6-pack. Not the beer, the carburetors. I don't drink anymore. I ruined that privilege in 1986, so. So the 74 basic body shape is the same as the 71. But as we all know, in 1971 was also the last year of the super performance cars. So they went to features, creature features, and looks instead of performance, all right? So the other day I had the ghouls go out into the lot and pick which of the 2-generation Chargers I had lined up that they liked the best. Now, Alyssa, Emma's mommy, went out and selected a 1971 Charger RT. Now, she's not here today because she doesn't feel well, and that's understandable. This is real TV land, so I got a stand-in. She does all of her stunt doubles. This is Emma Marie Rose. So she's going to pretend to be Alyssa for the day. I've also got Will here. Will picked the 1968 Dodge Charger, and Doug picked the remaining 2nd-generation Charger, which was the 69. What nobody picked was this little 1974 Dodge Charger SE 400 Magnum car. I happen to think it's a pretty cool car. Doug should think it's a pretty cool car too because
I had one.
Because he had one, that's right. So the front end of this car is probably the least attractive, to me, part of the car. No concealed headlights, and I don't know why they brought the grille all the way out, but they did. That was the design idea, and then recessed the headlights. The other thing they did in 1970, starting in 73, were these ugly bumper guards, which most people take them off by now. What are these called, Emma?
Bumper cars.
Bumper guards, that's right, that's right. So that's the front end, but the valance panel is the same from 71 to 74. The lower valance.
Tony D'Agostino would like to inform you that Mark Cool Breeze Warman is incorrect. The 1971 through 1974 Charger valances are not the same. However, the 71 and 72 Charger valances are the same. Likewise, the 73 and 74 Charger valances are the same. But to say that the 71 through 74 valances are the same is, quote, a gross oversimplification of the facts. Just like saying that if a fella likes a Philly cheesesteak once or twice a day, that he eats them all the time. I mean, come on, that just ain't right. End quote. We now return you to the feature presentation.
Working our way down the side, you'll notice that our cool flush mount side markers in 71 are gone, and they're this kind of sticking, protruding above the surface type. Can you see this right here?
Uh-huh.
This big opening with this panel in it?
Yep.
That is called a sunroof. Now, very few cars had a sunroof. This one's a manual sunroof, so I believe it's M52. This thing slides open. So this car originally is white with a white top and white interior. Yeah, a very pretty car when it's all done.
Mm-hmm. I agree.
Yeah,
I agree.
I know.
I agree.
Doug does agree.
Yep.
Doug likes that.
I love it. I love the car.
Do you really?
I do.
One of my favorite features is the louvered quarter windows.
Same here.
I believe 73 and 74 on those. I could be wrong, but I believe it's 73, 74.
Yes, Tony.
I could call Tony, but he's eating a Philly steak sandwich right now, and I wouldn't want to interrupt him.
Sorry,
Overall, if you step back and look at the car, it's a 71 Charger with different side markers, different front and rear bumpers, grills, taillights. Okay, speaking of the taillights, we'll look at those right now because they are the least attractive of all the taillights.
The whole car is unattractive.
The whole car is beautiful, actually. Here's the ugly bumper guards. You notice those. Those aren't attractive by any stretch of the imagination. You could clean this car up a lot by just taking those.
You could haul a horse trailer with that.
It has a trailer hitch on it. But if you took the trailer hitch off and the two bumper guards, you'd actually have a pretty good looking back end. Now look at those exhaust tips. You see those, Doug?
Yeah. Whoa.
What do we call those? What's the alphanumeric code for them, number one, and what are they called?
Dual exhaust.
Well, sure it's dual exhaust. Sure it is. What would the alphanumeric code be for, say, dual exhaust with bright tips? What would the code be, Emma?
N42.
N42, that's right, that's right. Now, those tips are referred to as machine gun tips.
That's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So our friends down at Accurate Exhaust make exact replicas of those now. Oh, interesting. He's actually got a fiberglass hood on here.
Uh-huh.
So you see we have two fender tags here. Now, you see that a lot more commonly after 1971 than you did in 71 and back. All it means is there were so many options on this tag, they needed to carry the extra ones over to this tag right here. The cool things on this quickly. P31, power windows, that's good stuff. Dual exhaust with bright tips. What are the exhaust tips referred to as? Doug? The exhaust, that's you. The exhaust tips, what are they referred to as?
P38s?
Not that.
No, P39s.
It's N42, but what are they called?
I forgot.
What kind of exhaust tip?
I don't remember.
Machine gun.
Machine gun. Well, I was going to say that.
You see what I deal with every day, man? Every single day. Bring the llama up here. Is this, what kind of little critter is this?
It's a llama.
It's a llama. And does that llama have a name?
No.
Okay. We're going to call him Balama Yellow. Like Bahama Yellow, but it's Balama Yellow.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh.
L31. Balama Yellow. L31. What does that mean?
Off these right here. Yeah, look at that. That's a pretty smart
Turn
llama.
signal indicators.
Yeah.
I'd do a lot better teaching my audience if I had that instead of you guys. Class is adjourned. I have nothing else to say to you
Oh,
people.
boy.
I grew up with Dougie. I don't know what happened. He went left. I went right, obviously. He zigged when he should have zagged. You have no excuse at all except your parents gave you everything.
Ditto.
And you are the granddaughter of my loin. I love you.
The owner of the 69 Chargers had it a long time. I didn't get an opportunity on the phone with him to go over everything, the backstory, but that's the stuff that I love. So I know when they get back over from the coast, they're going to sit down and kind of tell their story. So I'm looking forward to hearing that.
I'm Kyle Koss. I'm the CDL training coordinator for Jefferson County Road and Bridge. This is my daughter, Dakota. This is my oldest daughter.
What year did you say you bought the car?
In October of 1988. So I bought the Charger when I was 15 years old. We saw the vehicle actually in a car accident. So we followed the tow truck home to the guy's house, and he didn't want to part the car out, so I asked if he wanted to sell it, and I ended up buying the car for $100.
Now, I made some pretty good buys in my younger days, but I don't think I ever bought a car like this for $100.
I got the bill of sale to prove it.
I believe you. I believe you. Wow.
We used to take it out on Friday nights, go do little cruises and that. And we've taken it to Bandimere and did some drag racing with it. It's not the fastest car. It's more of a highway car.
I mean, for a non-touch, it's a good original old car. A lot of these things, you see our yard full of them. They're not this nice when they come in. So
Right.
Just stuff like that's amazing. You've got a bunch of paperwork, is that right?
Correct.
Stuff that you've collected over the years?
Yes. It's a 69 Charger SE, white hat special. So it's not an RT or anything of that sort. The car's an original 383 two-barrel single exhaust car, but it's got leather interior, the wood grain dash. It's not anything specifically special, but it's very special to our family.
I remember being in the garage with my dad a lot and sitting in the back seat in my car seat, going to Sonic and doing all those Friday night cruises, and just the smell of the old car. And I remember my mom getting in the car and it dying because it does not like my mom.
The wife calls the car Christine, and the car has, for lack of a better term, an attitude towards the wife. There was a scenario where she got in the car's sitting there idling on the driveway, and she made the comment she loved the way the old car smelled, and the car died. Cranked on it, it wouldn't start, tapped the dash, said it's all right, she didn't mean it, hit the key, and it fired right up.
Just every time my mom walks out and the car's running, she's like, I can't touch it, it's gonna stop.
The hope is Mark will exorcise the demons in it and make it where the wife can be around the car where it doesn't hate her. The day of our wedding, we actually used the car for the wife and I to go from the wedding chapel to the reception. Of course, I didn't like that it was all decorated, but didn't like anything hanging off or riding, so there was strict rules of what they could or could not put on the car. The styles of the cars back in the 60s, they're just unbeatable. Mopars have a personality. The car, in my opinion, picks its owner. So I'm really looking forward to the car getting done. I know Mark's going to do a good job with it, and I'm anxious to see it when it's finished.
I'm ready to see it. I want it to be like tomorrow.
The cost to restore it might be more than the value of the car, but not when you add in the emotional part of it. It's just a great thing.
Well, Willie, I think we had a pretty good week, don't you?
We had a great week.
We had a great week. I think the point about the Chargers was well made. Now, you picked the 68.
Correct.
And why did you love the 68?
The taillights, the grill, the one-off dash, one-year only dash, all those good reasons.
The things I pointed out to you. That's okay.
You didn't point out the taillights.
Don't ever say the F word because we have to cut it and they can see your lips flapping. All right? So don't say that word.
You bring it out.
I bring it out in you. Okay. Well, anyway, I think that Will did good. He learned a lot. I enjoy the fact that your car was out in the rain. I think that's my favorite part.
See, that's more of your crap.
That's not more. Oh, yeah. What, I talk to God and say rain when we're out there inspecting the car? No, that was just the way it is, man. It's seasoning you. It's seasoning you. Someday you're going to take over the throne. You and Alyssa are going to be running that place. Can't wait to see that. I was surprised that Alyssa went with the 71, but at the same time, you know, she's younger and she probably doesn't remember as many 68 to 70 Chargers on the road.
Right.
So she probably saw more of those. Who knows? You know, like I say, you're damn lucky Jerry Crandall isn't around for your silliness.
There's no reason for me. Everybody likes me.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you how Jerry likes somebody.
But everybody else likes me.
His cousin Jody started dating a new guy, right?
Right.
He pulls up, he parks out in front of the house over there on 17th Street. It was Jerry's parking stall, right?
Right.
So Jerry hops out there. He's only got one leg, right? He walks out there, hops out there, hops up on the hood, takes a dump on the windshield, and it runs down the windshield. And while he's doing it, he's looking the guy right in the eye, like that. And what the beautiful thing is Jerry was so big and so nasty and so powerful, the kid didn't do anything. The kid just watched him take a duke on his car. I guess in a way he's lucky it wasn't Christine, because remember when Moochie took a dump on?
Right, yeah, it didn't work out.
Yeah, it didn't work out so well.